So, at the beginning of a group like this, it's important to, guys, just no more, okay. Start that again. At the beginning of a group like this, it's important to, as it were, build the container within which we work. And that container for a group like this is partly consists of the agreements that we make with each other. It's like the culture that we create for ourselves, that we operate inside of by choice. So I ask people to make certain key agreements and have some shared intentions. The first agreement is confidentiality. For kind of obvious reasons. We're inviting people to be vulnerable, share things that they feel embarrassed or at risk sharing about, and so they feel safer if they know that they're not going to be blabbed about. Now, ultimately, my wish for you would be that we would become less and less concerned what other people know about us, less and less imagining that we are in danger if other people know everything that there is to know about us. But for the time being, we have the agreement to confidentiality. It's also not, the agreement is not only for the one that is being not talked about, it's also for the one keeping the agreement, in the sense that it's useful to check your intentions when you talk about other people. Because a lot of us have these weird ways of connecting with each other by talking about people who aren't present. We may critique them, we may be gossiping about them, we may whatever. This is a waste of life energy. I like to say that part of the soul of agreement to confidentiality is the intention to not speak about anyone in their absence in a way that you wouldn't feel good about speaking about them in their presence. So that extends beyond the people in this group, but start to notice if you ever talk about people in a way that you wouldn't want them overhearing. And if so, what's that about? And if somebody starts gossiping to me about someone else, I say, sounds like you're still upset with that person. You better go talk to them. And that's my wish for all of us. So, all that being said, confidentiality means not talking about someone else in a way that other people would recognize who you're talking about, and not talking about them in a way that you wouldn't feel good about them hearing you talk about them. Do you agree to confidentiality? Make a noise with your mouth. All right. Anybody have any problem agreeing to confidentiality? All right. The agreement is made. And Carolyn, you can make it next week. The next agreement is to being present, which means being present on time as much as possible, and if you're not going to be on time, you call in advance and say, I'm having this issue, I should be there at such and such a time, or I can't come this week because I'm sick as a dog, or whatever. It means being here on time, and it means being here for the duration. It means not like, disappearing at a break because you're feeling tweaked about something. It means not getting in a huff and storming out. It means being here on time for the duration, and it even means trying to notice if you are fully present or whether you're checking out. A a trigger for me used to be that I would notice if I started getting really fascinated with my fingernails, that I was not fully present. Something was going on for me if I was very interested in taking care of my fingernails. That might mean I need to speak up, I need to engage the group in some way in order to be more present, which sometimes meant sticking myself in hot water. I'm annoyed at you for what you just said, or I'm wanting something different right now, whatever. So, the agreement to be present means to be on time or to give fair warning, to be here for the duration, and to be as present as possible while you're here. Everybody agree to that?
Yes.
All right. Anyone have any problem agreeing to it? All right. The next agreement is to tell the truth. Surprise, surprise. The idea is that you be honest in your speaking about yourself, and even though it's harder to measure, it even includes not withholding important things about yourself. Keeping this agreement can be a little scary to people because we've learned this long-standing habit of editing, spin control, impression management, because we imagine that what other people think about us is a safety issue. It isn't really, but that's the way we experience it. So this agreement is choosing to give up that method of illusory self-protection and seeing what happens when you do. Well, you survive. Some of you said some fairly risky stuff in your introductions last time, which I really appreciate you for. And you may have felt some discomfort when you did, and you're here again. Nothing, the earth didn't crack open, the sky didn't fall. So, does everyone agree, at least in the context of this group, if not out in your other life, though I hope as much as possible there too, to tell the truth?
Yes.
Anyone have any problem agreeing to that? Of course. And you're a yes. Okay, very good. Now here's a subset of telling the truth which bears special mention. That is the agreement to ask for what you want. Now theoretically, if you're really good at telling the truth, you would anyway, but it bears special mention because people can be counted on, usually fairly well socialized people can be counted on to be concerned about what other people want. They cannot be counted on to be really honest about what they want. We will tend to rationalize away the need to say it with, oh, it's inappropriate, the timing is wrong, it would be an interruption, it's their turn, la 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 la, which are all basically cover stories for I'm afraid of how people would react to me if I asked for what I want right now. And or I'm afraid I would hear no anyway, and that would be a painful experience. Speaking of which, your agreement to ask for what you want does not equal an agreement on my part to make sure you get it. Obviously, it may not be possible for everyone to get what they say they want at the same time. So I make executive decisions around that. But your agreement is to ask regardless, and then to feel whatever you feel if you hear no to your request. This practice goes really deep. You will find that it takes practice to even notice what you want, because you have a long-standing pattern of hiding it even from yourself. for fear of the embarrassment, the humiliation of being too in touch with it and hearing no. And so people, takes a lot of practice to even start noticing what you really want, let alone having the courage to speak it and feel your way through. And ideally, when you ask for what you want, you ask it as a yes-no question. You're asking it as a favor. You're ready to hear yes or no. We'll learn more about requests in the course of the group. But so, any questions about that? Does everybody agree to ask for what you want?
Yes.
Excellent. Anyone object? Okay.